Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Midweek Musings, the weekly show where we pick you three discussions on Twitter to answer and react to them, and I'll be reacting to them myself as well. I picked three questions this week, so let's get straight into them and see what you had to say. Right, so number one, let's get this one done. Mark Noble, his comments. Was he right, and do you think his critics have caused his absence? Now, he obviously missed the defeat to Leicester last week. I'm not sure that the Twitter trolls had anything to do with it. I think Mark Noble's more of a stronger character than that to let some to people that are, criticising him stop him from playing. Does he need a rest? Maybe. And as it turns out, he looks like he's going to be more important than ever when he comes back. So maybe a little rest might give his legs a little bit of a rest. And a little bit of recuperation time. Do I think that the critics have caused his absence? Nah, not a chance. If Mark Noble could have been out there, he could have been out there. Like I've said it several times now. I'm not a fan of Mark Noble's style of play. That's just a personal preference. But am I happy for him playing in the team? Yeah, of course I'm happy for him to be at the club and being in the team. I don't think he should leave the club or anything like that. But, if your form's not good, being a captain or being a local boy shouldn't be the saving grace. Everybody should earn their place in the team. And that goes from everyone to the best players like Antonio, Mark Noble, Coyote, Obiang. I think Obiang got injured, but I think he was starting to wane a little bit. So maybe he could have been the next one to step out of the side. Winston Reid, anyone that's playing in that team should have to earn their place. And I don't think he was playing that well, and I think he should have been dropped. So let's have a look what some of you guys have to say. I can guess what you've got to say because there's a big sort of dividing let's touch on his comments as well. Was he right? A lot of people, I think that was a bit disrespectful. I'll let you guys have your say over that. At PBM 1968, can understand why Noble spoke out, but as a captain needs to rise above it. Yes, critics have caused his absence and affected performances. I'm not sure about that, Marshall, but we'll see. Only time will tell. At McMillode says, judging by the comments of some of the folk who sit round me, he's not far wrong. At Stan WHU1 says, would have been wiser to keep quiet and knuckle down. He has been poor, but he's not the only one either. I agree with that. Mark Noble does get a lot of stick, but that's what being a captain does as well. You have to take the brunt of the stick when you're the captain and you're not playing well as well. Because he's the captain. Kevin Nolan got it. We're not looking for a scapegoat. I'm sure that's what a lot of people say, but I don't think we're looking for a scapegoat. We're just looking for answers, and who's better to start with than the captain. At Sunny Phelan WHU says Mark Noble's comment had some truth in him, and obviously most fans don't understand the game as well as he does. I'm a little bit disagreeing with that. It's a game of football, not a maths equation. At Hammer's opinions, he was right to say it. As a captain, he must respect the fans, but what he said wasn't wrong. At WHUJJ45 says, any day, I think Noble, if I had the chance, would play for West Ham, but I think he wants the best for the club and will do it. At Joe Newman says, we will beat it, ISIS. I don't believe that there was an injury. I think it was to protect him from any media speculation, but my opinion, Noble to start. At Hammer Social, there is no way Mark Noble refused to play for his boyhood club. I believe he is really injured. At GH90WHU, think what he said was taken out of context. He needs a rest, played every game for 2 seasons. Come back strong, Mark. I agree with that one. I like that on the way through. At J22OPH says his comments were ill-advised from the club captain, but his leadership is badly needed, even though he's not my first choice 11. I'm going to take a couple more on this because there's so many. At Macca11, Paul says, with Rinston out and Obiang too, we need Noble more than ever. He's West Ham through and through, and we're in a fight now. But I totally agree with that. At Dorodia Media, yep, he has a point, but there are a lot who don't know who do know he's out of form, but some have different opinions. Don't mean they're clueless. At WHUFC, Josh, he had a good point by saying football fans don't get the game anymore, but it's irrelevant to his situation. So that's the first one. Lots of opinions there. So let's have a look. Number 2. This one's a tough one. Dire form. Our best 3 players missing for some tough fixtures. Should a relegation start to be thought about as a possibility? Now, we've got, 8 or 9 games left now. You know, you're talking about Reed, Obiang, Antonio missing for a long time. Obviously, I'm just hearing news now. I don't know how you know how true this is, but I'm looking at Twitter and some, as of today, some are saying that Sacco is now out for the rest of the season. What a 6-week injury that was back in November. It gets worse for West Ham, and I've got to say, I sort of foresee this in January, because we had such a good January and December in terms of turn of form, in terms of players started performing, in terms of just results, because of the Payet situation as well. Just results started to turn on their head a little bit. That I knew this would happen. I knew we would get to this stage of the season and then be in dire straits, because it's our luck. We get to January and everything looks rosy. So everyone thinks, oh yeah, we'll be fine, we'll be fine, we'll be fine. I think the relegation possibility, we shouldn't start thinking about it right now. But a defeat to Hull in 2 weeks' time, and we're really, really back in it. I mean, some of our fixtures coming up are atrocious as well. And you never want to get to this point looking at the fixtures you've got. But we've got, you know, our own form isn't good anyway. But we've got Tottenham, Liverpool and Everton there, as well as Swansea, who, you know, if Swansea turn up on a day and they're down there scrapping as well, you know, you just don't know. And away, we've got Hull, Sunderland, Stoke, and I think Burnley, which, you know, they're not. I'll keep on saying that Burnley haven't lost away, but they at home. But of course they've lost at home. But it's like 1 to Liverpool, 1 to City, and 1 to Swansea, I think, and that's it. That's all the losses they've got all season. With them players out as well, you know, it's a possibility with them fixtures as well. I think we'll be okay, but a loss to Hull at the weekend. And I think it'll start becoming squeaky bum time for some of the players. Have we got some of the characters to pull us through it? I'm not sure. But we'll see anyway. Let's have a look what you guys should say. At SD66 Dan, 5 more points should be enough. Hull, Swansea and Sunderland are the games we must avoid defeating. At Mason Hazelwood, every game, because he does our dirty work like Barton for Catamole. I don't know what I think he's carried on from saying there, but I can't see it. Anyway. At Macca Malode says, relegation is a definite risk. There's often one team that falls down the table. This could be us. Big couple of games coming up. At Sunny Phelan WHU, we have to come together and big 3 points. And if we can do that against teams like Hull, Swansea, etc., we'll be fine. At WHU FC JJ45, relegation was an absolute risk at the start of the season. I think the bottom 9 teams are in the battle. We will beat ISIS. Yeah, we're definitely still in the battle even before the top 3 players were injured. I agree with that. It just gets a lot tougher now. At James Hawkins 24, relegation should always be a possibility. Lack of effort and no leadership pays a heavy price in the EPL. Agree with that. At GH90WHU, 3 games in 8 days will make or break us for sure. Relegation an outside chance, but doesn't mean we're in a fight. Hull is a must-win. At Costa Hammer, 100% it should. At Mason Hazelwood, I think this is now we've lost them players. It will show if a squad. It will show if this squad have the West Ham fight. Hull is a massive win game, and Nobe should start. At Macca 11, Paul says 100%. We have to beat Hull and Sunderland away. Must win games now. We're in a fight with 3 players. Even harder. We're in a fight for sure. That comes from Duro Media. Kevin Tay 571767733. Or maybe we need some youth to come through and pick our spirits up, then relegation will be a distant memory. At Gus Salmon says, yes we are, form isn't dire, we haven't played We have played well going forward, but our defence is shambolic. I recall Oxford and Burke. I'm not sure we can do that. And I'll take one more. At Total West Ham says we would be, but lucky enough that this season there's 3 teams that are playing worse than us. This is the time when they start to scrap. I'm not that confident, to be honest. I'm preparing for a battle. Okay, so on to subject number 3, and it's about season ticket prices. Season ticket prices. Is it fair to commit before you move, or the timing of it? Now, what I mean by that is, if you haven't got a season ticket, the season ticket prices come out, they're the same as they were. I didn't expect anything different. Just, you know, we haven't had a glaring season. I think as well, the year after the move, if they'd have put prices up, they'd have been crazy, because people would have been up in arms about it, saying, oh, look, we've moved now you're going to start putting the prices up. Always going to be a non-goer by West Ham to put the prices up. But they're asking people to pay their tickets up very early. Now, bearing in mind all the shambolic nonsense that went on at the centres when we went at the reservation centre when we went to buy our season tickets this time, and a few of the half-truths that we was told in there in terms of seats, and you know, just the sheer lack of organisation. There's obviously a big scope to move, but what they're saying is they've only got a certain amount of places where you can move to, and a certain amount of people that can move, and they're going to choose who moves by who pays earliest. So they literally landed it on your lap a couple of days ago. Now, don't get me wrong, you know, the end of the season is looming, and I know some people would be, you know, be expecting to renew their season tickets and things, so they would be saving. But just to land it in the middle of March and then turn around and say, well, if you want to move, you better pay today. It's not fair. Like, that's not fair on the people that do want to move, but just haven't got the money. You know, it might force people into, you know, taking out loans or going to one of these payday company things and whatever. You know, I'm not saying that they will, but you know, some people take it that seriously, and some people feel that strongly about the move, and you know, I think that's a bit unfair to expect them to sort of slap up the money straight away. Especially, like, I've got a friend of mine that I speak to regularly. He sits in the 1966 seats, and he's not very happy with them, and they're £1,100 or £1,000 or whatever. He wants to move to a cheaper seat. He's been asked to pay £1,100 up front and then be refunded at the end of the season. Why? You know, just put an application in to move, like, regardless, you know, and they can sort all that out in January. You know, it's not going to take a very big effort to start moving people around, because you can do them things from the computer. You ain't got to physically go and pick them up out of their seats and take them. So to ask people to pay, I think it's a bit nonsense. I also think the timing, they give you to the 31st of March to renew as well. The timing of it isn't great, because they normally give you an extra month on top of that, which is understandable. They want to bring it to the end of the season so people pay up for next year. They keep on saying about this 55,000 seater waiting list. That's yet to be seen. But the timing of it, we're in the middle of a relegation battle. Like, to me, it doesn't matter. If we're in a championship, I'll renew. If we're in the League One, I'll renew. If we was in a conference, I'd renew. But like, when you're in the middle of a relegation scrap, which I think we could get dragged into, I think releasing prices for season tickets for the next season is a little bit, you know, let's have a look, see what some of you guys think anyway. At Kaz7289, I don't think it's right letting people renew for the same price now when we're still in a relegation fight. I just said that. At PBM 1968, next season is 5 months away and we're not 100% safe. Too early to ask, and also put pressure on renewal to have an option to change seat. Exactly what I said. At McMillode says, deposit to secure your seat would have been better option, and somewhere you could request to move, then they would start planning. At WHUJJ45, already renewed, but I think there should be more lengthy deadline. I think we should get a discount if the team has not been performing well over the duration of the season. At Greg Hobbs, typical of the clowns in the circus upstairs, deadline on 31st of May. Why? Make it June, July. We haven't been rewarded, especially away fans. At Aaron Gill 1995 says the timing of it sums up the board really. The board are quick to put up statements online about season ticket deadlines, but they fail to show this kind of urgency in matters such as transfer market and bidding for asking price for players. That's a good point. At WHUFC Josh, yes, although I did renew, we don't know what will happen for the rest of the season. At Mark Shubman Brown says the timing isn't great. They should give you more time to pay. Not everyone can set aside £1,000 to pay for a ticket. I do think they lose the touch of the common man sometimes, like, because £1,000 to them isn't a lot of money, you know, whatever. At Daniel Leeson says should be able to reserve your season ticket to see if you can move, not pay all up front with a chance of moving. And Stand WHU one sums up our board. Everything is getting as much money in as soon as possible, and fuck the fans. There was a fourth this week, actually. Let's have a look at that one. I can't see it though. Oh, here we go. I'm going to make this really quick because we're running a little bit over. Let's say, do you trust the owners in the summer to start doing as they promised last season? Now I'm going to make this pretty quick on my part. No, I don't. I've already seen some of the names being touted, although I don't agree with. I don't believe every source I hear. They reek of West Ham signings. The big teams don't want them. We'll have them, even though they're aging players. Sanya, Zabaleta, Defoe, who I would have took in January, but end of season I'll be looking for a more permanent, more someone who's got a bit of a future ahead of them. I don't trust them to spend the money wisely, to be honest. But let's have a look, see what you think, because we've got to start wrapping up in the next minute. At the moment, no. Ironic that last week season ticket renewals come out and we get linked to top players. Rooney. Owners feeding press. At SD66 Dan says they need to be more realistic. We are a top 10 team at the moment. Stop promising big names and build a young side. Amma Shout, definitely not. Need to move to this next level they promised, but required actual commitment of money. So no. I've got to be really quick. At WHU Messiah, no. I expect them to purchase the foe and Sturridge as strikers and be short of options by Christmas. At Jack Hobson, yes, didn't work out last summer, but they've bought more good than we have bad. So someone that does trust them. At Stan WHU, zero trust in anything they say or promise. Too many lies from their stadiums and no signings. Mac Millode, yet to be convinced. Need to move early to secure signings. Can't afford to wait until window is shut in. And a couple more. At Costa Hammer, have they given us a reason to so far? J22OPH, no in short. Somebody's posted a picture of Rooney. So Howardinho, not a chance. Usual Sullivan bluster promises. Messi, Neymar or Suarez and end up with Stevie Wonder. And one more. At Joe Kurzel, last chance saloon for the owners, and I do agree with this, by the way. If they do not deliver, they will lose the trust of the fan base. I think they've already lost a lot of the trust of the fan base. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's Midweek Musings. Don't forget to go and follow the rest of our content from last week, the 3-2 defeat to Leicester, unfortunately. All the fan cams. Post-match point, there isn't one this week, of course, because it's the international break. But we'll be back next week with Hull. Go and check out the previews, Scotty's preview, FIFA preview, all going up next week. We're having a couple of days off, but we'll try and get some content up. I want to try and do some new stuff, so we'll have a look at integrating some of the new stuff. Go and follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/West Ham Fan TV. Twitter at West Ham Fan TV, and all the good stuff. And one thing left to say, lads, come on you irons.